like button and hit that subscribe button, because who'd want to miss one of my videos? My laundry's done. Sorry about that. Any hoozles. Today, I'm going to be going over a book series that I just finished reading, and I'm just in love with it. It is the Garden Trilogy by Nora Roberts. It's really, really good. Disclaimer here, if you don't want to know what happens in the book, click off, because I'm going to be talking about it all. Exit now or forever hold your peace if you have not read this series and you want to read it. So, let's start off with Blue Dahlia. It's the first book. After that, there's Black Rose and Red Lily. I will say, I'm not really a great gardener. I do garden, and there was a lot of terminology in here that I just didn't get, but that is okay. I loved it all the same. And it's kind of one of those things, I've always been one of those readers, even if I don't understand, I don't know about you, but I play things in my mind like a movie. So I'm kind of guessing what it is, and if I really want to know, I'll look it up, but for the most part, it's just playing in my mind, and I'm just kind of thinking about what it looks like. So let's start off with Logan and Stella. It is the first romance of the series, so each book has its own separate romance. With that, I wanted to dive into that and kind of say my opinion on that. So, reading the first book, I fully was hoping that the next couple of books grew upon Logan and Stella's relationship, Rosalind's and Mitch's, but it kind of stops when the book ends. It talks about them, but it doesn't go in depth. All I really learned from this is that Logan and Stella got married, but I kind of wanted to know, like, how Stella felt about it all. Her husband died, and now she's in this relationship and married with someone that she didn't even expect to be married to, and she wasn't even ready for a marriage. In reality, she didn't think she was, and she was holding herself back because she didn't want to love someone the way she loved her widowed husband. Is that what you'd say? So, I really, really loved their relationship, and I loved how hot and steamy it grew to be, and how he loved her children and treated them as his own, took them to work, and kind of put that aspect onto it. And I love the part where Logan tells the kids, one of the boys, like, hey, I am not your dad. Your dad will always hold a special place in this world. I'm not trying to replace him, but if one day you want to call me your dad, that's okay too. I am a child of divorced parents, and I love each one of my parents exponentially. This kind of hit home for me. It was so adorable. I loved it, and their relationship really builds pretty quickly in this book, and I love that. And each of them, they kind of, except for Red Lily, that's a little bit slower, but I wish it had deep dived into Stella's aspect about how she felt about the whole subject, so I was a little bit bummed about that. Now, with Blue Dahlia, it's, I don't know, like, how the Harper bride comes to be in the story is really good, but at the same time, it really blew up really fast. Like, the Harper bride was not a ghost that wreaked havoc a lot, so I thought I didn't quite understand it at first. Of course, after I finished the whole series, I was like, oh, of course, really into the second book, she's upset about these women dating men when they're supposed to be independent. It's like this ghost who wants to have independent women, but mostly not for like, go women, but more for like, because she honestly totally believes that men are just awful, awful, awful. So I quickly grew to understand that, I think, as the second book came to be, and Rose had the whole Harper bride incident, goodness, and almost drowned to death in the bathtub. So I thought at first I was a little bit confused, but then it started to make sense. It just kind of clicked. So I also loved how she started the books with Amelia, the Harper Bride's point of view and thoughts on things. And honestly, the biggest twist that could have came was in Red Lily when she took over Haley's body, I guess you could say. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting that at all. Like, in all the other instances, she just threw stuff, so I thought it would be more of that. And I love that the author took it to a whole new level and put her into Haley's body and kind of had Haley be taken over. I keep saying kind of. I hear it, guys. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. But I was not expecting that at all, and I loved that. I have never heard of Nora Roberts before these books. Anyway, so to deep dive into Black Rose now, I don't want to say it's cliche, but I had a feeling that Rosalind and Mitch were going to end up together. I know she was kind of trying to play it hard to get at first, but I just knew there was going to be a love story there. It got hot and sexy there too. I love how the author isn't afraid to do that, because I know that sometimes authors are afraid to do that, making their books not as credible or good. So I really enjoyed that, because honestly, I'm someone who liked 50 Shades of Grey. There was a love story behind it, and I really enjoyed that, and I liked, the sexiness behind it all. There's a sort of fantasy that takes you through these books, and that's something I really enjoy about reading books, is it kind of puts you out of the world that you're in and puts you into a whole new one. Sometimes it's nice just to leave your world and appreciate another one, So it was just another aspect. There was a lot of drama and tea all up in this book, with Rosalind and the other people in town, and her ex-husband, who, by the way, is such a douchebag. Oh my goodness, that guy. I was not expecting him to come in. That scene where he's smashing all the glass in the kitchen, I think it was. I thought it was going to be the Harper Bride. I did not think it was going to be her ex-husband. Totally took me back. But I loved how she handled it. She just knocked him out, punched him in the face, and it was just like a yeah moment, So, oh gosh, it was a good scene. I really enjoyed that. And I feel like this book really, really grew on me, and I believe it was this book where she went to her cousin's house, or no, her aunt, I think, and stole the journals back, and there was so much that happened in these books. Obviously, they're like 360 pages each, somewhat around there, so of course a lot happened. But, man, what was your favorite part of these books? Because they just encaptured me. I finished these books in like a week and a half or something, which still is a long time, but I was only reading them at work mostly. Okay, so last one, Red Lily. This one took me by surprise, like I said, when the Harper Bride went into Haley's body. Yeah, that was something I just didn't expect. Now, Harper and Haley kind of had this whole thing going on, the whole series. They didn't quite know they each had it going on until the end, but I really loved how they brought it in and how Haley was kind of resistant at first. I know Rosalind was too, but Haley was pretty adamant on it. She was like, no, is this the right thing? Honestly, I think part of her was afraid because she left her baby daddy and didn't even let him know that she was having a baby, and I think it was a different feeling for her to have a man in her life, especially Harper, who wanted to be there for her baby Lily, and wanted to be a father, and even at one point said that he wanted to adopt her and keep her as his own. Oh my gosh, that was so cute. Again, with having step parents, it just meant a lot. It was good. It was a heart wrencher, and I loved how he just, is that the right word? Zhuzhed her up, kind of like took her on these fantastic dates. It brought a different aspect to the books, which I really enjoyed. Each one of the relationships that these books have, it's Logan and Stella, Rosalind and Mitch, and Harper and Haley, they were all different. I know that in some books it's repetitive, but I guess that's why Nora Roberts is such a good author. She made it different, but still flowed. And then to go deep dive into Harper Bride, I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit baffled the way it ended about how Harper found her in the pond. I thought they were going to dig her up somewhere, so it was a little, I wasn't expecting the whole pond situation. Now, not to say I didn't like it, because that scene where, like, she almost tries to hurt him, woo, I thought he was going to die for a second. I was like, no, he can't die. He can't die. And then he goes to the surface and everything's fine. But it's just, it was like 3 stories rolled up into one, or really 4. The Harper Bride, the 3 relationships, I mean, there were so many different aspects, and I think this is one of my favorite series as of now. I'm so used to reading strictly romance, and I'm really enjoying kind of the mystery of these books. I like that it wasn't too scary, because I do get scared very easily. I'm not really into the whole horror book, so I enjoyed the fact that it didn't go too evil. It was just, like, on that brim. So I really enjoyed that. I want to know what you guys think of these books. I'm trying to hold them up. This is not working. I want to know what you guys think of these books. What's your favorite part out of all of them? Which parts do you wish were different? And what would you change to it? What would you add to it? I would definitely add more in-depth into each relationship, because I would have really loved to see where things went, especially with Stella and Logan, and where Stella's mind was. Also, if I'm not mistaken, we didn't get a marriage scene and kind of where Harper and Haley ended up either. I would have loved to see them, like, the end of the book be like, oh, and then they got married and it was gorgeous and there was all these flowers, blah, 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 and then they had a child and blah, you know. I just wish it kind of went a little bit more in depth. I guess that's kind of a good part of about a book, is you can kind of make that end part your own. You can end the book in your own way, in your own head. So I guess that's a good part, but at the same time, I like a resolution, and I wish I was in the resolution. Okay, enough about these books. Yeah, please leave comments below, your thoughts, your suggestions on what you would have put in the book, etc., etc. I also want to end this video by saying what I'm working on currently and what I plan on working on in the future. I'm working on a 50-year, goodness, it's too bright, a 50-year silence. I think I got this book at the dollar store or something. I'm working on it currently. It's not picking up really fast, so I'm having a hard time focusing on it, but I'm enjoying it. It's an enjoyable book. And then after that book, because it's a standalone book, I'm going to read part 2 of The Emerald Sea. This is part of The Glittering Court. So this is the one I spoke of last time, and I said, okay, I think I'm going to buy the second book, because sometimes I don't like buying the second book, because I feel like it's going to ruin it. I don't know. Sometimes I just like the book stand alone. I just want to leave it at that. So I got the second book because I did decide to read further into the series. My sister-in-law was like, do it. Get the book. It makes everything make more sense. It flows together. So I'm going to read this one, and I'm going to get the third one of the series as well. The third one is Midnight Jewel. If you guys have any book suggestions for me, please leave them in the comments below as well. I'd love to have more books to read. I always want to add to my bookcase, and I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I know it's been crazy in the world right now. Honestly, I just want to have my videos be an escape and not talk too much about them, And if you guys have any questions about how my life is going with it, feel free to ask. I think I might put that, it'll either be a little segment of the video before this or the video after this about kind of what my life is right now. Hey guys, real quick, I wanted to interrupt. I want to start doing a quote a video, or each video has a different quote in it. So this video I wanted to put a Dr. Seuss quote. It is, "Today you are you that is truer than true. There's no one alive who's youer than you." Now, what that means to me is I am an individual. There's things that are going to take me down, but I can't look at everybody else and say, oh, well, they have that, and you have that, and I don't have that. Because everybody is their own person. Today you are you that is truer than true. There's no one alive who is youer than you. Nobody can be you. You can't be anybody else. So appreciate who you are as a person, and leave down in the comments below what you think it means to you, and I'd love to read it. Yeah, I hope everybody stays safe, and I hope you have, again, a wonderful rest of your week. Bye, guys.